This morning on Going for Two, we center around two young men who were drafted on day 3. So first time we're able to discuss them. Up first, a Pittsburgh native who played his college ball at Navy. You've heard his name once before on this show, but he ended up getting selected by the team he grew up rooting for.
The Pittsburgh Steelers select Eli Heidenreich, running back, Navy!
Back-to-back Navy picks. What a moment this is going to be as he is coming down the tunnel. Touch that Steeler logo, tears streaming down the face of Eli Heidenreich of Navy. And he is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he has his terrible towel. And the fans are going nuts.
Kyle, you profiled Eli Heidenreich and your favorite running backs before the draft. And then come Saturday, you were in attendance when this young man's name was called to put on that Steelers hat, to walk down, see that logo. Kyle, it must have been amazing.
It's incredible. It was the best moment of the draft. It was the best moment in Pittsburgh all weekend. Really, really, really special for 50 different reasons. Just personally for me, at the time he was drafted, was sitting at the desk with the ABC, ESPN family and Reese Davis and Mel Kiper and all of them. Really unbelievable thing. I had known that I was going to be doing that for 3 days. And for the 3 days of pre-production, when they ask you questions what you're interested in, I kept telling them, I'd like to talk about Eli Heidenreich. Eli Heidenreich. I don't know if he'll have been drafted at that point. I don't know if he'll ever be drafted. I sit down in the commercial break, and the first thing they tell me is Eli Heidenreich is about to be drafted right now. So as I sit down, the one guy I want to talk about in a big hypothetical balloon of the draft gets picked. They pick him. Everybody goes absolutely nuts at the desk, in the theater. And understand, I profiled them before the draft, not just because it's a good story. This kid is an amazing player. And look at this full screen that I brought, this side by side. This is Eli Heidenreich, just drafted in the 7th round out of Navy, next to you-know-who. That is Christian McCaffrey coming out of Stanford. Eli is taller. He's 4 pounds lighter. He's half a step faster. He has the same broad jump. He's significantly stronger. Now, that's Christian coming out of Stanford. Thank you for Mike Renner for putting that together, by the way. That is a really cool thing. So what I love about these stories, they're wonderful, and we get washed up in them. If there's one thing I don't like about the great human stories, is that it takes away from what a good football player they are. This guy is an incredible football player, whether he went to Navy or Georgia or where the hell ever. He broke receiving records at Navy as a running back. Now, granted, Navy's receiving records are modest, but this guy, he would line up in the backfield, and then they'd motion him out to slot or motion him out to the outside academy, who has a looming commitment to serve to the Navy in a time when guys like the United States is at war right now. There's a lot of things going on with him. He came and sat down at the desk with us. Rock solid. I mean, unbelievably cool, confident, grateful, this amazing presence to him. And then, you know, I shook his hand. He breaks my metatarsals when he shakes my hand. I put my hand on his shoulder. It's granite. Like, I think the Steelers got a really, really cool player that's going to be in the huddle in some capacity, at least in training camp, with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. And this is very cool. But I always make sure to stress, as amazing as it is to see the hometown kid from Navy and all that, the kid can play and he can ball, and I think he's got a shot to really be something, Willie.
Yeah, I'm with you, KB. When I saw this, I immediately thought of Rocky Blair. Now, if you don't know who Rocky Blair is, he was somebody who served this country, fought in Vietnam, actually got hurt while he was in Vietnam, came home, rehab, and when he joined the Steelers in the 70s, he was in the backfield with Franco Harris, and he won 4 Super Bowls. And on top of that, you know, he was a folk hero. He was beloved. He was somebody that people held on a high pedestal, not only because of his character and what he did for this country, because he was a Steeler. And his story in itself was a story of resilience, perseverance. And so when I look at this kid, I see the same thing. And KB's 100% right. Yeah, the story's great. Yeah, he's a son of Pittsburgh, but this kid can go get it. Like, this kid ran a 4.4. He's a ball player. So you talk about a Steelers offense that wants to reset their identity and really be better at the run game. Value, you have Jalen Warren, but this kid can add true value. So I thought the Steelers did a hell of a job here, man. And I wish the kid best of luck, man, Ty.
Listen, let me tell you something about the Naval Academy. For somebody who's played against them for 4 years when I was at Notre Dame, they're made of the right stuff. And just to give some context, football is the easiest thing that these young men do at the Naval Academy. My uncle was Ken Neil Matalolo, who was the head coach there for a long, long time. And he would often say that the young men that he coached, football was their escape. So just to put it into perspective as to what these guys do, who these guys are. Now, one thing I did love is there was a lot of different individuals at the draft that came dressed and they were ready, right? You had Francis Mauingoa. He had the Samoa on his coat. He had a lot of people that had like etchings and stuff within there. I think Jeremiah Love had his comic book inside his coat. But when you see Eli and he's coming in his naval uniform, you don't need to know anything else about what this man is made out of, his character, everything that he's been through. And when he went up to that mirror and he saluted, that little humble salute, Kyle, I wish I was there to witness this moment because it was such a special moment for him. It was a special moment for all of us to see a young man who's obviously Pittsburgh's son, but just a son of the country. You know what I mean? Understanding what this guy's been through, what he has to, the things that he represents, and to be recognized this way, I couldn't be happier for him, and I couldn't be happier for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'll extend that even more about his football career, what you just said about the Naval Cadets and all that they go through, and all of the student athletes in the service academies. Making the roster of 53 is going to be one of the easiest things he's done after what he just endured at the Naval Academy, but also what he will continue on in his life. Eli Heidenreich, thank you for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do. It's been a true pleasure watching your story so far and what is to come. Moving on, somehow we have another one of these moments from over the weekend. This one also happened in Pennsylvania, though. Uar Bernard took the internet by storm with the following photo.
Oh, my gosh.
An absolute physical specimen standing at 6'4.5", 306 pounds. Here's the thing, though. It's not a problem. It's just a minor, you know. Never played a down of football, this young man. He got drafted. He did get drafted, but where to?
With the 251st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Uar Bernard, defensive tackle, international halfway program. Let's go!
This is a cool story. Think about the organization that brought in Jordan Mailata. Now they've got the defensive version. I've never seen testing numbers like this guy had, Charles. That's a big smile. That's awesome.
All right, Kyle, we'll start with you again. This pick was made. Uar, as they mentioned, was from the International Pathway Program, and there he is going to go play for Howie Roseman and the Eagles. Your thoughts on that athlete?
I'm just looking at that picture.
I know. Kyle, that was unreal.
So you see the picture. Okay, all right, you see a lot of muscular athletes, and he's all ripped and everything, and then you're like, hold on. How much does this dude weigh? Is it like 260 or something? No. He weighs 306, and he looks like that? Has any human being in the history of 306 pounds ever looked like that? Is that that's a complete anomaly. It's amazing. And listen, we just showed him with the flag and the hat, and it's all a great story, and I'm just like drooling over his physicality. But tell me Howie Roseman wasn't as well. This is like, obviously, massive swing for the fences project. But my God, what an incredible freak.
Look at your face.
I can't get over it. I sit here and look at athletes every single day, but there's something, when you look that exceptional and you have those measurables that exceptional among NFL players, that is why, I mean, look, I don't even know if he knew how to run a 40. He doesn't even look like he trained or anything. He's just running.
Like chasing a bus.
Yeah, man, like, wait. He almost slapped that top thing. And I think the context of Jordan Mailata is so crucial. That the Eagles have one of the greatest stories in the last decade. The greatest story ever in the International Pathway Program is we found this giant guy from Australia down there, and we're going to try to put pads on him. I remember vividly when Mailata came into the league, and I got to talk to Lane Johnson about it. And this is what Mailata had been doing. And Lane was like, yeah, it's great. Well, they brought him. That's cool. We'll see. And then now it's like he's a first-team All-Pro.
He's a guy.
So they know how to do it and mold him and teach. And I don't know, Willie. This is kind of where you live too. I'm so entertained by this, and for all the best reasons.
Yeah, for the Eagles, it looked like they found like Myles Garrett at a pawn shop. It's unreal. But listen,
best I can do is the 251st pick. Right. Oh, we got the side by side.
Look at the numbers. I mean, 306.
He's way heavier. He's just as fast, better broad, It's pretty much the same bench. This is nuts. This is a great full screen.
And by the way, the Eagles are getting him at
and
they're getting a guy they can literally mold.
Garrett was the #1 overall pick. Like, it's a different deal. And he's 50 pounds lighter than this guy, or whatever the math says. My God.
You can tell, I mean, this guy, like, when he walks out, like, you know how this is, KB and Manti. Like, they have a thing called, when you get off the bench, you pass the look to, like, he passes the look test.
Yeah.
Right alone. Look at his bench press alone. I mean, he's just out here repping.
Why is he testing with 135? What the heck? No, it's 225. What the heck? That's unbelievable, man.
Bro, let me tell you, when you always know when somebody takes a bar off the rack and then that first rep, we're like, this guy's just built different. There's so many conversations, remember, earlier in the offseason about Howie Roseman and Myles Garrett, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Willie, because with all of those rumors about the Eagles possibly getting somebody like Myles Garrett, and Howie Roseman is like, just wait. I got something in the works. I'm cooking something up, and I'll show you on draft day. And then you have this guy going there. And a lot of talk about Jordan Mailata and his story with the IPP, the International Player Pathway that they have. They have a certain system in place that allows them to evaluate these guys at a level that I don't think a lot of other teams do, because for him to find that human being to be 300-plus pounds, and it's all muscle.
Yeah.
Like, that's just straight genetics. First of all, Willie, how would you feel if that guy was opposite of you and he was rushing against you, Willie? I would love to know.
We calling for a lot of chip help. We calling for a lot of tight end presence. I would be asking for us to either run at him or severely, boots, waggles, anything to get away from this man so he doesn't blow up. I mean, he looks like a game wrecker, man, Ty. What's crazy about it is, when you look at his physical physique, you see those arms, man, for a tackle I'm only 6'3", right? And I don't have short arms, but this dude looks like he can stand up and scratch his ankles. Like, his arms alone are a threat. His physique, and I just can't. What they're gonna do with him, or how they're gonna mold him, and how they're gonna develop him, man. Howie Roseman, congratulations, brother. You hit this one out the park.
Well, really, would you be calling for chip help, or would you pancake this guy because he has no form and that doesn't?
Oh yeah, I'm a dog him, no question. I'm gonna do what I do. But my point is, like, it's not about year one. It's what this kid looks like in year 3 or 4 when he gets his wits about it. Very much like Mailata. Like, everybody kind of laugh like, well, rugby is in American football. Yeah. But when you watch this game, you start to see his pass sets get better, his hand placement, his knowledge, the way he communicated. Like, yeah, he probably won't be a guy year 1, but year 4, like, he could be a legit threat for the Eagles, very much like Mailata is.
What do you think about inside? Like, I see D tackle at the bottom of the screen, not outside. Where would you put him?
I'll put him at a 3 technique and tell him
inside.
And go hunt the quarterback. Yep. Obviously, he's more than strong enough. It's about technique. It's about getting his wits about him on the field.
Okay.
How to protect himself and be effective. But man, I'm just happy for his story, man. He's gonna be a menace.
So imagine the most egregious thing Howie Roseman does looking back at the 2026 NFL draft is not usurping the in-state team to get Mekhi Lemon in the first round. It's the fact that that guy goes to the Eagles way late in the draft, and years from now we're like, seriously, how did we let him get away with this? Mekhi Lemon and Uar Bernard, fantastic stories for the Eagles, and players to watch for us here on GMFB. Until then, I mean, terrifying. Jeez. Oh, the black and white doesn't help either. Like, couldn't be more Hollywood artistic. Right? Exactly. And you're like, nope.
That's my lock screen now. I got it.
No, thank you. Presented by Lexus. Crazy to consider that despite Denver not having a single selection during the first 2 rounds of the draft, Sean McVay and his crew still ended up with a 7-player class. That included the final selection of the 3-day draft extravaganza when the Broncos closed out the 2026 NFL draft by selecting Buffalo linebacker Mr. Irrelevant Red Murdoch himself on Saturday afternoon in Pittsburgh. The 12 games he started for Buffalo, Murdoch led the Bulls with 13.5 tackles for loss and set an NCAA record with 17 career forced fumbles, breaking current Chargers and former Buffalo Bulls pass rusher Khalil Mack's record of 16. That's a pretty cool Way to connect it. Sherry Burris, an incredible weekend as a whole for the draft.
It was really special. Jamie, I know we talked about it. We get to see these dreams come true, and a lot of people wanted to witness that. According to the NFL, the final attendance of this weekend's draft in Pittsburgh was north of 800,000, which broke the record set 2 years ago in Detroit. But unfortunately for all those Steeler fans there and watching from home, they got a little grief from a division rival from the podium. Let's listen.
Pittsburgh, I'll keep this short, like your postseason.
Oh, ouch. Oh.
We got a special message for y'all, Pittsburgh.
Steelers still suck!
No, boy.
And we about that. You got a problem with that? Come see me. Big trust.
Oh, yeah. Ravens fans giving Steelers an earful. I love a divisional game. I love a rivalry matchup. Willie, I mean, the Ravens, the Steelers, you can't really make it any better, but I'm sorry, is something bothering you? What's wrong, Willie?
Yeah, what was that clip felt unnecessary. I mean, we all saw it. We all heard about it. What are we doing right now? Like, first of all, Mark Ingram, I thought you were a Saint, right? This little muscle hamster representing Baltimore. You played 2 years there. Nobody remembers your name, right? On top of that, the young lady who decided to call out our playoff record, also unnecessary, right? Call the pick. We let you into our city. We gave you a chance to represent yourselves, be adults, and go home. But you want to make it muddy. I get it. You know, you can't give people good opportunity to night things, KB. So I'm a little annoyed. Sherry, I feel like you could have did a lot of other things, but you decided to make my Monday grumpy.
So for the record, that was the producers. If you want their address, I will tell you where they are. That was not me,
okay.
But I appreciate it. No, I know where you're coming from. So thank you for speaking on behalf of Steelers fans that, you know, you have the rebuttal. It was an excellent weekend, all things be it, in Pittsburgh. But now our attention turning to the nation's capital because D.C. is on the clock for the 2027 NFL Draft. That is spectacular. It is beautiful. We cannot wait to be in D.C. for next year's draft. But before we get there, a lot more GMFB, and that's coming your way next.